the absence of men wanting to do the hard work. Everybody wishes for their kids to have an easy life. It's ingrained in our DNA to want to protect and provide a better life for our kids. But at what point does that come at the expense of them developing the tools to be able to create future generations of leaders, create future generations of pioneers, create future generations of great thinkers and people who are going to change the world? All of these things happen under pressure. All these things, they don't maybe demand hard things. They don't sometimes demand hard things. They absolutely all the time demand you to understand how to overcome hard situations. This society promoting this virtual lifestyle, if you can just live your life as a digital nomad or as an influencer and you make all this passive income, the exact thing they're seeking to run away from the hard things is actually making the quote unquote easy things impossible for them to accomplish.
Eating to live, yeah, I'm living to eat. Catch me enjoying vegan recipes. Fiend for chlorophyll.
Greetings, it's your boy Gartatia, and today we need to talk about the absence of men wanting to do the hard work. Why there is such an aversion, why there is such a, let me not do the hard work, let me run away from that in today's society. What made me come to this conclusion and what hit me like a bag of bricks, I'm at the gym, minding my business, got my beats in, finna do some chest, and I'm pushing the 90s, pushing away. I struggle on one set, like till failure. And this OG kind of comes up, this old head, and he's like, listen, real Guido type, a black dude. He's like, yo, you're gonna pull your chest muscles doing it. Trust me, I know. He kind of guides me with the correct form. And then I ask him like, yo, where did you learn that form from? And he's like, face lits up. He's super excited. And he just starts this whole monologue about his heyday in college, how he used to play football at Mizzou, how he used to destroy the other competing universities, how he was one of the highlight players, one of the best runner backs on the team, and how everything was going good. He tore his Achilles heel, and then everything was in shambles. He kind of quit football, got his degree. Then he mentioned how Gulf War hit, like in the early 90s, and how that was like his big exit. That was his big way to kind of get back in the action. And he mentions how he just signs up for the Gulf War, enlists, and he talks about the grueling training they had to go through. He talks about just the conditions of being in that desert environment. He mentioned how the soldiers literally there was no bathrooms. They would be on these expeditions. He would have to dig holes in the ground. They would have to take turns taking shits basically and dig holes to cover it up, so to keep the maggots away. How it was like 120 degrees every single day, sweating their balls off, and they had to wear the standard issue military clothing and the boots, and that's all you had was like one pair, and sometimes it'd be days, sometimes it'd be weeks before you would shower. He mentioned how in addition to all of that, there would be these, they could call them sand crabs, which are basically like related to herpes crabs or crabs, I don't know. Essentially, they make you itch and scratch all over, and you can't do anything about it because you can't take a shower, you can't take a uniform off and scratch like ants in your pants. How you had to stay disciplined, how you had to be mentally tough, and how the weak were weeded out, and how there was this mentality of, people might call it toxic masculinity, people might call it, being a bully. However, it was this mentality of, we all as soldiers hold ourselves to a high standard. We're all here to accomplish a mission. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what God you believe in. It doesn't matter what color your skin. It doesn't matter about your girlfriend or who you left behind. Right now, once we jump on this Humvee, once we hop in this tank, all that matters is we're heading to the battlefield. It's going to be kill or be killed. It's taking no prisoners. And a lot of it for me, I didn't agree with all of it. Some political shit. However, I was just listening to his story. I'm turning off defender mode. I'm turning off judge mode. I'm just taking it in his story. And his face is just so lit up talking about these, honestly, like really like fucked up things. Like things that I was like, man, I would have wished that on my worst enemy. But he's just recounting these experiences so passionately. And I had to ask him, I'm like, so now that you are in your 60s or however old you are, if there was a next war, similar conditions in the desert, would you sign up? Before I even finished the sentence, he's like, sign me up. And I'm just like, what? This man has been through the ringer, literally had his ass handed to him, has had shrapnel, grenades blow up in his face, near death experiences. However, would sign up in a jiffy to go back. And he told me how he finally found the girl of his dreams, how he's making 10K, 15K months, and how, he's making more money than he's ever had in the house of his dreams. And I'm like, you would risk all of that just to be in the battle, to just for that adrenaline rush. And he was like, absolutely, sign me up. I don't know if he was joking. I didn't sense any like joke in there. It seemed sincere. And like on the whole jog home, that just got me thinking, like, look at this boomer. I don't know if he's a boomer, but this Gen Xer, just like, fully pumped and ready to go back to battle and like lit up talking about these hard things. And I'm just like, I have like cousins who are like 14, 15, and they would much rather just make a Twitch, be this influencer, start this YouTube channel, this gaming channel, or go out in public and test people's diamonds, or do street interviews, or become a meme rapper. This is a new thing, not even an action rapper, just a meme rapper, or just be an influencer who just vlogs their lifestyle. Not saying that any of these things are bad. However, that's the new job. That's the new future that this generation looks forward to. And the crazy thing about it to me is a lot of those things I just named, although obviously they're not life and death like war, a lot of these things to actually be successful, like a lot of these kids want to be, they take a lot of hard work. They take a lot of hard effort. They take a lot of hard commitment, and you need a lot of the skills you need to be in war. You need a tough mentality. You need a no quit mentality. You need to have perspective. You have to have a mentality where like the now doesn't matter. All that matters is you have to be goal oriented. You have to have endurance and patience. A lot of these qualities bleed into these things they want to do, like influencers, or play professional basketball, or start these Twitches, or these social media platforms, or be big on Instagram. It requires these skill sets. However, they think that it's easy because it's on your phone. You can do it on your phone. They think it's easy because it's work from home. They think it's easy because it's virtual, and it couldn't be further from the truth. And that's the sad part about it. It's the exact thing that they're seeking comfort, and the exact thing they're seeking to run away from the hard things is actually making the quote unquote easy things impossible for them to accomplish. And it's really sad seeing it. And what really, like, I'm having flashbacks of the movie Fight Club. And that movie, man, it was made in like 1999, but I don't know if the author had ESP or some shit, but that is so relevant to today. Like, just there's this quote that like I will never forget. Now, if I screw it up, don't come for me. I know the Fight Club cult, they be cutthroat. But I think it's something like, we are the middle children of the history of man. No purpose, no place, no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our lives. And like, just saying that right now, and like to know that came out 23 years ago, blows my mind. It baffles me. It just shows that America and the developed world, we've been heading in the direction of instant gratification. We've been heading in the direction of low effort. We've been heading in the direction of everything falling to our laps for so long, to the extent where we're actually living in a more serious version of Fight Club. Back then, we didn't even have social media like that. I don't even know, there was no social media at all back. I think we had like AOL, maybe or Yahoo Messenger. That's about it, right? They didn't have that. They didn't have video games, like virtual video games, like the Oculus Rift and shit, where you can just completely dissolve into another world. They didn't have all these different, was it webcam sex. They did have porn, but they didn't have like Tinder and stuff like that. They didn't have Uber Eats. They didn't have Netflix. They didn't have instant gratification at your fingertips. it was becoming progressively easier. You could go to like a Blockbuster, get some popcorn. You could get like a TV dinner. So we were heading in that direction. However, no one could have foreseen the rate that we've gotten to, I feel like, an all time low of just men not wanting to do the hard things. And the thing is, the men who did the hard things, everybody wishes for their kids to have an easy life. I don't know a single parent who doesn't want their kid or their niece or their grandkids have an easy life or to not have it as hard as they want to. It's ingrained in our DNA to want to protect and provide a better life for our kids. But at what point does that come at the expense of them developing the tools to be able to create future generations of leaders, create future generations of pioneers, create future generations of great thinkers and enthusiasts and creators of new platforms and people who are going to change the world. All of these things happen under pressure. All these things, they don't maybe demand hard things. They don't sometimes demand hard things. They absolutely all the time demand you to understand how to overcome hard situations. And I feel by this society promoting this virtual lifestyle, if you can just live your life as a digital nomad or as an influencer and you make all this passive income and you start all these courses and people throw money in your face and your job will just be traveling the world and vlogging. They ship that idea so much, and these young impressionable minds feed into it so much. And I feel like, and what I'll be damned I'll do when I get to these points. I'm doing a lot of these same things, but what do I show? I show the grind. I show the behind the scenes that's not so pretty. I show the parts where part of me wants to give up, but I'm still shooting this video. I show how I record a video every single day. Like right now I'm sick. Even though I'm still doing all that influencer stuff, I'm showing the hard part. A lot of these influencers, and I blame them. I really blame them because what do they say? Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility. They have so much power and they're using the power to show only half of what their lifestyle entails. I have friends who are at that high level, and personally they show me how hard it is. They show me how many hours it takes. They show me how many meals they skip. They show me how many early mornings they have to do. And on their social media, on their vlogs, what are they showing? They're showing, oh, I'm in Cancun with the boys and we're going to hop on this surfing class. They show you, oh, I'm getting lessons from Gordon Ramsay in Turkey. They show you, I'm in this foreign country in Africa and I'm in this underground hotel underwater and never before access exclusive VIP, and you'll be amazed. Look at the thumbnails, like you'll be amazed about what happens next. That's what they show you. They show you all of these things that get you aroused, that get you excited, that get you turned and heated for an experience that someone else is doing. You're living through someone else's dreams. And I feel like that's fine if we have the understanding that of what goes under that. We have an understanding of how we can do that too. However, a lot of these, I will say Gen Zers or this generation, they say, oh, I could do that. They think that it's easy. And what happens is, because they think that it's easy, they're attracted to it. So that's the first mistake. They're just attracted to easy things. That's the first problem with this instant gratification, men not want to do hard things. But I feel the worst part, there's this thing about human psychology, and it regulates how we feel. It regulates our performance in life, how, effective we are and productive we are. And it's all about our dopamine levels. And if we're not getting a dopamine hit from putting in effort, if we're not used to getting a dopamine hit from putting in the work and then seeing the results from that work, what happens is we'll never want to put in the work, right? But we'll still get that dopamine hit from the anticipation of something. But what happens is when the anticipation isn't met with results, preferably results that we want, favorable results, what does that happen? You get an opposite dopamine spike. So not only do you get a no dopamine spike, you get an opposite of dopamine spike, aka you get fucking depressed. That's why this generation has an all-time high suicide rate, has an all-time high depression rate. This generation, like a lot of you all, if you're in college, when I was in college for 3 years, we lost like 5 people. One guy hung himself off a lamp. One guy, I don't know, he overdosed on Xans or something. And the thing is, I knew these guys, some of these guys. Some of these guys were smart, intelligent. A lot of these guys were attractive people, had good social lives and everything. However, something didn't go right in their life. Shit hit the fan, or they, an exploit or a girl they liked rejected them. And then that was enough for them to just end it all. And it's not that things have gotten harder. Things have actually gotten easier. This is the easiest time to be alive. Back then, you had to fend for yourself from the wolves. Back then, you had to build a pit. You have to build trenches in the war, and you had to, sit in your own shit and piss for weeks before you would get helevaced or evacuate to the ship, and be able to kick it with the nurses on deck or whatever. Back then, you used to be in factories, fuck an 8 hour day for 12, 14. Back then, kids used to work. There was no, oh, only 18 over. The moment you look like a man, you started working like a man. And there's parts of the world in Africa where they still do that. However, what I'm trying to say is this Western society, they've gone so used to things being cookie cutter, things being, the royal penis is clean, your highness, just easy, fall into your lap, that they have forgotten something that is vital for them to even have happiness in their life. They're seeking happiness in these fleeting forms of instant gratification, these fleeting forms of material satisfaction, in these fleeting forms of food, overeating, right, to bring them pleasure in the moment. However, they're shooting their future pleasure they're going to get in the foot by doing these things, because these very practices for long or prolong the process of them building the mental strength, building the toughness, building the friction, and the perseverance to actually be able to have the energy to withstand those punches from life, withstand those bitch slaps when that person didn't network with you, withstand that gut punch when you put in 2 hours a day for a year studying Logic Pro to become the next EDM DJ, and then you finally think it's your big gig, and then you get turned down. But the gut punch, that resistance is, guess what? When I get that gut punch, boom, I flex, I pivot, I slip that gut punch. You know why? Because I've been used to getting gut punched, so now that gut punch feels like a tickle. Turn the punch into a tickle. That's what doing the hard things do. Go to the gym when you don't want to. Record that video every single day, even when you're sick. I'm literally sick AF right now making this video. But guess what? Not only am I going to make this video, I'm going to probably make this video 2 more times to make it a better video. Just to bring the value and confirm to myself that this is a breeze. Bring it on, world. Make it harder. Make it challenging. After this, I'm going to record more videos that I don't really want to do, just to prove to myself when the time comes, when I have an actual challenge that is going to be a huge deciding factor for me, I'm going to have the tools and the mental toughness to tackle that problem and handle it. Right? This generation, I understand, and things have changed so much. Like, it used to be, your father fought in World War One, and then he would have a son who would be proud to fight in World War II. And his son played with toy soldiers and watched Rambo and couldn't wait to be in Vietnam War. And, he didn't become a captain or he didn't become a general, but he come back and he get a wife and he raise a family. And he would not have this existential dilemma. He wasn't depressed. He would live a happy life, because even though he wasn't a millionaire, even though some people would laugh at that and be like, oh, you get fed scraps, like soldiers don't get paid a dime, he was proud. A lot of people were proud of their professions. A lot of people were proud to be carpenters. If you were a farmer and all your family were farmers, and what do farmers do? Farmers feed people. They don't make a lot of money, but farmers are respected. People respected people's vocations. You didn't need to be, the heir of the throne to be respected. Everyone was respected based on the vocation. You were respected because you provided value. And it didn't matter what level of value you provided. Every level of value someone provides is crucial to the pyramid, to the chain of society functioning. And people just had a more intuitive understanding of that back then. Now it's everybody, because of social media. It came with a lot of perks, which is people can connect with people all over the world. And I will say social media has made us less xenophobic as a society, has made us less racist and less hating based on different skin colors. Diversity has been a huge plus of social media. I'll give it that. But on the negative side of that, people have really begun to devalue themselves. People can now look onto I call it the low self-esteem machine, open TikTok and instantly see somebody more attractive than them. Open Instagram and instantly see somebody their age, younger than them, more successful than them, doing things that they think they'll never be able to do. People can instantly open all these YouTube and see a 12-year-old literally getting 10 million views in the first hour for pranking their mom. And then they'll look in the mirror and say, why can't I do that? And even worse, they'll try to do that for a week or two and it'll not work out at all. And then they'll give up. And then because they've tried something and they've given up, they're going to confirm to them, that's going to confirm the belief that they already had in themselves that they're worthless. That's going to confirm the belief that they already had in themselves that they are not worthy of success, that they're not worthy of love. And that spiral starts younger than you think. That spiral starts the moment kids get tablets in their hand, the moment kids start exploring on the internet. That negative feedback loop starts so early. It used to be, I didn't start kind of being nervous and social anxiety and shy until like junior year of high school. Right? Before that, I feel like I was on top of the world. I didn't care about what I wore. I didn't care about designer clothes. I didn't care about what the other kids thought. It's because I wasn't even exposed to that. I wasn't around that. I only kind of saw what was in my environment. And what was in my environment was people who love reading sci-fi books. What's in my environment was people who loved nerdy things like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and Narnia. What was in my environment was kids playing outside, climbing trees and seeing who could jump the highest. Those are the things that were in my environment. We didn't have all this social media. So my childhood is thankful for that because I was able to dive into a lot of passions at a younger age and kind of really live my childhood. So now as an adult, I'm focused. As an adult, I'm not constantly trying to go back to that, oh, the good old days as a child when I used to do X, Y, and Z. I completely lived and had fun in those days. I can move on. I'm not constantly reaching towards a time that will never come back. Right? No, I've gone off on a tangent. I just really wanted to make this video because now more than ever before, it is just so vital that young men do the hard things. It is so vital that young men look instant gratification in the eye. Look all these quick, cheap, cookie cutter fixes, shortcuts in the eye and just for once say no. And the moment you start saying no to these quick fixes, the moment you start saying no to these porns, and the moment you start saying no to these dating websites and TikTok, and they even got a new app that literally you have to take a picture the moment you get notification. The moment you start saying no to all this shit is the moment that your life and your success and your manifestations will start saying yes to you. And yeah, I hope this video helped. And as always, stay hydrated, stay breathing in that good ass oxygen. And most importantly, stay basic. I love you.